All right. Good morning, everybody. Ooh, I'm on the wrong screen. How about that? There's a little preview of what's gonna happen later. Good morning, all. So, sorry about yesterday. We had no show yesterday. Last minute thing. My dog's, as you know, my dog last week went in for a little surgery on her toe pads, and we dropped the ball. We took her little cone off that let her have dinner, and weren't paying attention, and she started licking her foot, and she popped a couple stitches. So we didn't see it. We went to bed, and then woke up, and she had, bleeding and bled through her stuff. Anyway, had to take her to the vet yesterday morning and get that fixed up. So that's why we missed the show yesterday without warning. So I apologize for that. But first things first, right? Take care of the animals before I take care of you. Anyway, here we are. It's Friday. Happy Friday, everybody. Yeah. All right. Poor the freaking dogs, man. They just, they just don't know. You can't reason with them, obviously. And the thing is, that paw of hers, we'll get the craps in a minute, but that paw of hers, the reason why we took her in was because she was licking at that paw for like 8 years. Like, she's had this thing in there, which we didn't know about for like 8 years. We thought it was allergies this whole time. We had no idea that there was something actually like embedded in there. We've had it checked, we've had it x-rayed, everything. Nothing ever could figure it out. So her norm is to lick her paw, right? Even without the stitches. So anyway, she's now wrapped up and hopefully going to be okay coming in the next week. So anyway, sorry. Let's get to it. Let's get to some betting stuff today. So your bridge reminder of the day, right? Every day we talk about the important pieces, right, to making sure that your gambling experience doesn't suck. And again, the bridge is not designed or not talking about ways you can win more money. That's your strategy. At some point, the way you play will help you win or lose less money. But the bridge is all about tying it all together, right? Understanding how your bankroll plays a role in your life, how your risk appetite or aversion to risk plays a role in how you bet. When you identify when it's time to lean in to a good streak or a good set of outcomes, or walk the hell away, right? And do you have discipline to do it? I think all these things work together, right? Having a good goal and knowing to stick to it and keeping your emotions under control. All these things together create what I think is going to be a pretty good experience for you. So when I think about, your life as a gambler, and again, we were talking in chat, in a private chat between myself and Joe and some other people, one of the things I always say to folks is, stay in your lane, right? Like, it's like, I'm not a strategist, right? I don't do like Waylon, a bunch of strategy videos of my own. I'm also not like Ryan from Mark the Point or Jeremy from Color Up, where I run other people's strategies as hey, here's a way to play. I just don't do that, right? That's not the way that I play, not the way that I teach, right? So my lane is more this stuff, more the focus on you, like your personality, your brain, your emotions, your discipline, your money. That's what I focus on, right? Some people focus on different things. I think it's important that we stay in those lanes as a group, right? As YouTubers, and don't forget that kind of stuff. So today I'm going to hop back into my lane a little bit, and we're going to talk about something I think you all know about, which is house edge. I don't want to get into the calculations of it. The calculations are boring, but I'll show you something that's interesting. And this comes from one of our subscribers who was here in chat about a month ago or so. We had this conversation. I was doing a bunch of stuff, and he said, "Hey, why don't you talk about the diminishing house edge of the 4 and 10 when you buy it at different levels," right? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to jump forward and then backwards. So the first thing I want to show you is the pass line. And we're going to run some dice today, and we're going to kind of compare these two things, right? So the pass line, the flat pass line, has a 1-4-1 house edge, right? But I think everybody knows that. It's the standard. It's the lowest raw house edge besides the don't pass on the table as a raw bet. It's just what it is. Aside from Baccarat, which is 1.26 on the banker, and blackjack, which is below 1% when you're playing basic strategy, it's about the best bet you're going to get in the house. Okay. Now you can augment that with odds as you put 1x, 2x, 3x, 4x, 5x odds on top of the bet. The house edge of the overall bet reduces, right? But I think we have to focus on the pass line in those two phases, right? The actual flat bet itself carries a 1.41% house edge. When you jack money on top of it, that reduces the overall edge of the total bet. So $10 plus 15 or $10 plus 10 in odds is a 0.85% house edge. So that's how pass line is calculated. The by 4, though, a little different because of the way the VIG works. And this calculation here is based on a casino that's not trying to screw you. This is based on the VIG being paid on the win, not upfront. So the upfront VIG changes the numbers. But if you're fortunate enough to play in a place where the VIG is paid on the win, okay, here's how the house edge works, right? It's a 1.67% house edge on the raw by 4 at $20. Let's go to the table here and see that we can see this, right? The raw, oh boy, that's kind of a, well, you can't see the 10? What's going on there? Can I make that a little smaller? Hang on, I guess I can't. Shoot, I'll go to the full page. No, that's fine. Well, that's fine. As long as the 4 is in play, we're good. But the raw house edge on a $20 bet, now $20 is the first level where you can pay the VIG. And the reason for that, if you do a $15 4, let's say it's $15 instead of 20. On 15, you can't do 5% of 15 cleanly, right? You just can't. There's no way to get change, quarters and nickels and dimes, right? So 5% of 20 is a clean $1, and that's where the VIG starts, right? Now, there are casinos in Colorado that will only accept a bet on the 4 at the proper level. When I say proper level, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. They will not take a by 4 bet on a bet where they cannot pay a clean, perfect VIG that doesn't have any change. So for that reason, what you're seeing on the screen here, right? Because look at this, right? If you have a $20 4 on a buy and you're paying $1 in VIG, your ED is 167. If you have a $25 buy 4 and you're only paying $1 VIG, which is what Vegas does, the house edge on that bet's actually 1.33%. And if you go to $30, again, the casino can't break down change, right? Most houses will round down. You're paying $1 VIG on a $30 bet, and the house edge goes down to 1.11. And if you're at 35, which is the last increment you get to before the VIG jumps to 40, some houses will round this one up. Many houses, like the station casinos, will round this down, and you're still paying $1 VIG for a $35 bet, which makes the buy 4 a 0.86 house edge, which is equivalent, if I go back a screen, or forward a screen rather, to the pass line with 1x odds. Close to it, right? In other words, a $10 pass line bet with $10 in odds is about the same house edge as a buy 4 for $35. Isn't that interesting, right? So this gets into this idea that and I close a lot of my shows by talking through this, right? One of my last scenes you'll see has been this idea of house edge versus winnability, right? And how easy is it or hard is it to win this bet versus this bet? And it's hard to quantify it, but let's take a look at the 4 or the 10, because they both have this same really cool low edge, okay? Remember, there's 3 ways to win the bet. I'll do it in green. 3 ways to win the bet. And there are 6 ways to lose the bet, right? We'll put the 7s out here in the come. Right, there's your 7 ways to lose. So you can lose it 7 ways. You can win it 3 ways. Or, I'm sorry, 6 ways versus 3. If you reduce the fractions, okay? So let's just do like some 4th grade math and reduce the fraction, right? It's 2 to 1. That's your upside down 2 to 1, probability speaking, okay? Now the odds of winning the bet are different, right? The probability is 2 to 1, right? The odds, as you can see, are 33%. Right, there's 3 possible things that could happen on average. You could lose twice, you could win once out of 3 outcomes, right? This one here is the one you want. Is a 33% chance to win the bet. That's your odds, okay? And for $35, you're only paying less than $1 VIG on that, right? That's pretty cool. Hey, look, my mom's here. Oh my God, my mom's here. Good morning, Josie. How y'all doing? My mom is now living in Jersey. By the way, she was here for the summer and she moved back. As you all know the story, right? She's back with my brother, Joey. So the odds of this bet are 33% in your favor, 66% to lose it, with a probability of 2 to 1 for the bet to resolve. That's kind of how that works. And of course, the pass line has the lower house edge. So what I want to do is talk about the pass line now. So on the one roll, you got 8 ways to win it. You got 4 ways to lose it. You're 2 to 1 down here. You got the same probability up here backwards on the pass line for one roll. for one roll. Then when it goes up top, when you get a point, now you're upside down. At best, you're a 45% chance to win here. At best, here you're at 40% chance. Here you're at a 30% chance to win, right? Your odds go down as you win. On aggregate, average, the pass line bet with single odds looks like, you can't see my odds because they're off the table, but the single odds looks like this. So we can do a little comparison and think about what does it look like for you as a player, right? To do very low house edge betting with a very interesting series of plays. Because if this happens to win versus the average down here on the pass line, the average wins on the pass line, what would do better for you? If we do 1x odds, right? The pass line with single odds is still better than almost every other bet you've got. It's still below a 1%. What would it look like if we rolled the dice out and said, well, we know the 4 and 10, right? We know our chances to win here. This is kind of rando time. You're really hammered against the 7 down here once the puck is up. So what does it look like to play both ways side by side? Low house edge. The lowest house edge you can get as a place better is right there in front of you, and you probably didn't even think about that, right? Yeah, the flat no 4 is an awesome bet, Skill. 100%. If you can get there, flat 4, right? All right, let's roll it out. I'm going to go to the table view. Give me a second to get there. There's table time. All right, here we go. Let's roll it out. I know you guys can barely see this. I'm not sure why my thing is so zoomy, but let's get that up there. All right, let's do it. Let's roll some dice. We'll do $35 up here, and I can't get a real $35 action down here in total action, but the best thing that I can do down here is 15 and 15. We can do 15 and 15. Single odds back here. I can make this 30, but then it's a weird thing. We can do 30 and 20 back here. That 20 will work for all the bets, or 15 and 20. The house edge for this bet here is going to be a little weird because I don't have it on screen. Obviously, if I go back to that last screen, the house edge on, go back one number, on 1x, 2x, we're not really quite at 1 or 2x here. We're in the middle somewhere. It'll be like 0.880% or 0.7, something like that. So it'll be close enough for government work. Let's call it good and just play it out. All right, here we go. Let's go here and roll the dice. I'm gonna again have a buy 4 at $35. I don't have any lammers in here, so we'll just spread the bet out. I will also at first not press this, but later on we can play this with a little bit of a press on it. All right, and let's get our bankroll out. I'll put it right here in the middle. It doesn't matter. I'm going to put man 1 in the front and man 2 in the back, and we're just going to run a little variance volatility test and just roll some dice and see what all happens. All right, here we go. Let's give each player. Let's see. I'm going to give them each $100. We're not going to be here very long. So there is 75. My goodness. All right, there's 100 for the first guy. This will give us about 3 or 4 shooters worth, right? And this guy here. Actually, I'm going to give him his 100. We'll give him some greens. I'm going to give him 2 greens. And give this guy 5, 10, 15, 20 reds. Right, there's his 100. There's his 100. I'll use the fancy dice to pay them out. Again, 15 on the pass and 35 on the 4 as a buy. He's not working the come out. Okay, we're not going to work the come out. We can decide to later. It doesn't really matter, but let's go. Pull out the bubble craps machine and let's roll it. Here we go. All right, we got a 5 as the point. So now this bet here was 2-1, right? Now we're going to go ahead and take $20. And again, I'll put it down. It's not in the right spot. Usually it goes behind, but I know you guys can barely, I guess you can see it good enough. We'll put it there. You can kind of see it. So 15 and 20 is 35, $35 on the 4. Okay. Both players now are fighting the 7. This guy's got a better chance because he's on the 5. Okay. And we'll see how this works out. We got a 9. And I wonder if we should work the come out here at some point, right? Another 9. And have it just not worry about it, right? Oh, is that 3 9s in a row? My goodness gracious. That is a 5. There's the point. Okay, so this guy's bet not affected. Down here, we're going to get paid. We're going to get paid 15 flat. And for the 20 in odds, you get paid $30. Okay. And so he actually makes a little bit of, I'm going to put his original bankroll back over there and his profits over here. And I want you to watch how the worm kind of turns as we go through this thing, right? So once the point is established, he actually has an advantage on winning the bet. If we work the bets all the time, it does change things a little bit. So we can elect to change to working the whole time. And there's a 7. So lose and a win. When I had a great choice. I love when I make good choices like that. He will win down here at the $15. Cool. All right. Back out we go. $35 up top. He's going to be out of money if we don't catch a run here. Bring back the real toss. He says, I can't yet. My table's not quite built. It's still waiting for the felt. So I can't bring back my actual throwing yet. I have to use the bubble machine until we have the felt delivered. All right, here we go. 9 is the point. Now again, we'll do 20 in odds. Advantage him. He has the advantage on the come out 2-1 for the one roll over this guy, right? But the difference, next come out roll we'll talk about it, but he has an advantage probabilistically speaking here, but not a payment here. Once the puck is on, that switches. Here's that 5. All right, 3. Ooh, a midnight. Come on. 8. Well, let's get a roll. Another 8. Another 9. That's right here. Okay, so the 9 rolls. Again, nothing happens up here. Down here, we're gonna get paid pretty good. It looks like 30 for the odds and looks like 15 for the bet. Good pass line day today so far. Look at that. Just jacking it up over here on the right side. That's beautiful. Now, let's talk about the come out sequence. Again, he's got a 2-1 advantage, right? 8 ways to win on the 7s and the 11s. 4 ways to win on the craps numbers, or 4 ways to lose in the craps numbers. But his win is only $15. Over here, he's got that 33% chance, right? His win will be $70 versus 15. So high risk, high reward, low risk, low edge, low reward, unless you're in a good little pocket right here in it, right? And if you're following my show all the time, how should we be betting this, right? When we, on the pass line, staying flat is the secret to losing your money, right? Here we should be increasing down here, but I won't do it. We're not going to press the bets. We're just going to roll out and talk probabilities as we go. That's all right. Let's get a new point. Working the bet. We are working. Aces. So he loses. Has to come back out with $15 new. There's a 10, the sister over here. All right, now, both players are in the same spot. Again, we're going to do 20 odds, right? They're in the same spot. They both have an equal chance to win, okay? 4 and 10 had the same probabilities to roll. This guy's going to win 70 on that 10. This guy here is going to win 15 and 40. So he'll win a little bit less money, $55 versus 70. So again, same probabilities, less potential, more potential as you're playing it out. Again, lowest house edge place bet you can make up there, right? There's a midnight. Yeah, I think, there's my 7. So everybody gets toasted there. And that's a huge ass bummer, right? So this guy can't even play. He's only got $30 now. He's going to have to play at that low house edge, not quite the 0.85. This guy here can still play. And there's his 20 for his odds. Here we go. How about a 4 on the come out? Midnight, lose. Bummer. His last 15. They're both all in, right? That's going to be a 6. There's your point. And here we go. There's his last $20. We're going to run the bankroll and check the results. There's a yo 11 yo. There is a 7 out, and we got no 4s today. Not one 4 in all those rolls. Remember yesterday we had all those 4s, right? So the guy playing the 4 lost every bet, which is a bummer. The other guy, actually, there's 50, there's 100, there's $100, right? 50, that's $100. He actually wins for the day $10 versus losing the whole thing. Probability wise, he ended up in a better spot. Hopefully you can see the differences there, right? I think it's interesting. The house edge doesn't always speak to the whole thing. And that's what I want to get to my point today. Let me show you this example again. We're here at 15 bucks. We're here up top at 35. Both of those bets, this bet, once the odds are out, these two bets, this is the odds behind, these two bets have an equivalent house edge, roughly. Within 0.5% or so, these bets have the same house edge. But house edge does not always point to winnability. I think that some people think it does, right? In this particular case, when you look at where you are, puck is off, I'm working the bets, okay? Look at where both players are positionally, okay? Higher risk, come out 7, he loses 35. Come out 7, he wins 15. Come out craps, he loses 15, nothing happens up here. A come out 4, we win 70, he wins nothing. A come out anything else, now he has the advantage. He's got the lowest, they have the same house edge, right? But his probability of winning this bet is better than that bet. So the puck really talks a lot about this, right? Once the puck is on, the probability advantage changes to this guy here who has a lower edge than him. However, when the bets win, this guy's going to do a little better. And in fact, even if the bet wins here, he gets a 4 before the 7, he gets the point being hit. Again, you're going to be here. You're going to win. Let's put the chips out there. You're going to win 70 up top. He's only going to win on a 6. He's going to win 10 or 15 flat, and he's going to win 24 on his odds. His total win is only 10, 20, 30, 40, $54. So he's upside down on the win, even in the best possible scenario. So again, the win amounts and lose amounts are way different, right? Using a low house edge on a 4 or 10 is enormous in terms of the win when it comes. Probability has to be in your favor. You got to find a variant, as we always talk about, when you're getting more 4s than 7s or more 10s than 7s. Today, we only had 1 10 the whole time, right? So the fact that I didn't win, notwithstanding, the point remains the same. The risk on one roll, the risk reward for one roll down here is different than it is up here. Once the puck is on, that shifts. And I think if you bet them properly, in both cases, you can be fine. Again, if you're at $15 on the pass line, let's get this out of the way, and you win it, and you have your choice to make, right? You know me, we're going to parlay the win and probably add more money to it, right? You get into this position down here, right? After that first win, let's say we were here. Let's say we were there with our odds and we won. Let's just we'll take the 5 as the example. It's easier to do it, right? 5 for 15 and for 30 down here, okay? We talk about progressing the bets. Even on this bet here, you can be aggressive. You can take all that money, right? Here's your initial, there's your odds back. You can go to $25 now, okay? And on the very next play, the very next point, 25 plus 25 in odds puts you in a position where you are, you're upside down $5, right? You got 25 and 25 at risk for a $5 investment. When you play it this way, when you increase and increase, and the same thing happens on the 4. You're up here on the 4 for $70 or for $35 and it wins 70, right? And your next bet looks like 50 and you increase it. You've got your $35, you've got 20 in profit, and you've got your bet way increased. That's a pretty big jump in bet size. In fact, what you should probably do is go to 70 because 70 is that same 0.88% house edge because it's 35 times 2. This will be a $3 VIG versus a $4 VIG. That's a big difference up here, right? And you're still having your original money back in the rack. That's how you take advantage of it. Anyway, I thought that was interesting. Again, one of our subscribers wanted me to talk through that with you today. And let's get over to here. About the idea of lowering the house edge because the 4 and 10 allow, if you're allowed to, buy it up to $35 without changing the VIG. If you can do that and get that edge below 1%, That's not a bad play. Now, again, the probabilities of winning the bet aren't that great. You're still upside down 66-33 or 2-1, right? You're still upside down percentage wise to win the bet. But when it wins and you catch a little run, if you're betting it semi-aggressively, you can do some damage up there. So that's that. All right, let me go into some questions. Do we have any questions today besides let's see. I'm going to go through the chat. So give me a second here to kind of muddle through some of this stuff. Let's see. A lot of good mornings, which is good. And Duracell, we had at one point today, we had 30 people here. That's great. The show will start to metastasize, I guess, right? At some point we're going to spread, we're going to get bigger. We're going to remove the show, as you know, from this channel. We're going to go back to the other channel, my old Pro Craps channel. I've renamed it to Casino Gaming Central, where I can do stuff like this, but I'll do it in blackjack. I'll do it in baccarat. I'll do it in roulette. I want to start breaking down, like we've done craps ad nauseum, as you know, right? I've covered everything in craps from the basic bets to super advanced plays and all the math. And we have not covered the other games. I think we can do as deep a dive. What I find is that like the roulette people, right, are just, I don't want to make anybody mad, but the roulette players are a different breed than craps. Craps players like y'all are thinkers, right? Craps players are trying to solve the puzzle. Roulette players are trying to throw money at the problem. That's all they do, right? Everything in roulette is like Martingale, Fibonacci, D'Alembert. It's all negative progressions. It's covered the whole board. It's got 85 ways to win, or 85% chance to win, and negative progression to losses. That's the only way. I think roulette's got a different spin to it, so to speak. I think we can attack roulette like we do craps. I think we can do progressive betting. I think we can work the math in different ways to capitalize on streaks in different manners. That's why I want to change the channel name and go in some different directions, right? So this show hopefully will start growing audience when it goes to that channel and I add other games to it. And things like breaking down, like for example, one thing I'm going to do is break down every single thing in basic strategy for blackjack. We're going to take a look at why do you hit the 12 against the 12 and not a 13? Why is it better? They got up 3 or an up 2. You're going to hit it. If you have a 12, you're going to stand on a 13. Why is that the better play? We're going to spread cards out and make it make sense. That's the new thing. Hopefully that will increase the audience a little bit and give us some different things to talk about. So you craps players just go, let's just watch something different today, right? Let me learn something different instead of just always hearing the same old thing. So that is the plan there. Okay. Scott Gunmer, first time watching live. Watch all the replays. That 4-letter word called work. I hear you. And I'm on the Pacific Coast, right? I'm out here in Washington. So for me, it's 7:30 in the morning. So it's easy for me to do this. My friends on the East Coast, I know it's 10:30, right? My mom is probably having lunch right now or her second breakfast, right? Watching the show. For me to make the show good for both, I'd have to do 2 of them. I'd have to do a show at 5 o'clock in the morning for the East Coast folks, and then take a nap and come back in and do it again at 7. I'm not willing to do that. So unfortunately, my East Coast friends have to watch it during work hours, which I know kind of sucks. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here. You guys have a great day. It is about 8 o'clock. I'm going to get to my day job, go make me some actual money. And that's it. I will see you on Monday. The plan for next week, TBD. I don't know what we're going to talk about yet. I do want to close with this, though. I want to give you my final thoughts on one thing. I think it's important. We had this situation this week where, and it really started last week when I was talking about variance and VI and all that. And Joe's here. Good. I'm going to address our conversation a little bit, right? We had this thing where I was talking about what Duracell brought up about variance influence, right? Or controlling the variance. And I was trying to not replace the term DI, but sort of add some flavor to it. What I do a lot, I'm a teacher, obviously. So I like to lean into good definitions, accurate descriptions, better ways to explain complicated things. That's kind of what I do. So when I heard that from Duracell, I'm like, that's a really cool way of looking at it. Like I always have this hard time. What is a DI really trying to do? Like what's the goal at the end? The end goal is to find a pocket. And they're trying to kind of control or influence the variance that they're seeing at the table. I thought that's a neat way of talking about it, right? I didn't mean to ruffle any feathers, right? I didn't mean to make anybody, any DIs out there kind of bristle because I'm taking a word away. It's the same thing as when we talked about trends a couple years ago, right? And I kind of went off the rails with the whole trends thing. And the trending thing is still a meme, right? Which is fine with me. Just know that when I go into a definitional thing like this, it's always for you, right? It's not like I'm trying to step on a toe or be right. I'm always on the hunt for an easier way to explain something complicated. Sometimes I get this like this a dream, or I wake up and go, that's the way to explain it. I try to explain it, and sometimes it goes off the rails. Anyway, that's a perfect way to end this day. We judge ourselves by our good intentions. I always intend to teach well, to break things down, explain things clearly, and in a way that I think anybody could understand, right? That's my intention all the time. It's never to aggravate or cancel somebody else's definition out. It's always for me as a teacher to explain better, right? That's my intention. However, you are judged by your last action. In other words, I'm judged by how I talk about it, or how I said it, or how it was taken. Regardless of how I intended it, if it was taken incorrectly, it's on me, right? And I see this a lot of times out there, especially in politics, right? People will say, or just in general, even, oh, I apologize you feel that way. I'm sorry that what I said, I'm sorry that you were angered by what I said, right? That's not apologizing for what you said. That's apologizing for how somebody else feels. You can't do that. That's not a valid way to live life, right? So again, my point is, I intend to teach well. I intend to break things down. I intend to make things clear. Doesn't always happen. And the judgment comes based on how it was taken. So I can't apologize for how you took what I take. I can apologize for how I said it, because how I said it meant that it was taken incorrectly. So that's on me. When you see stuff like this from my show, and I say, roll it into your life, this is what I'm talking about. The mea culpa belongs here. I said it incorrectly. People misunderstood it because of how I said it, not because they can't understand it. That's important, right? Not just with this little conversation, but with everything you do in your life. That's an important thing. Make sure that your intentions are matched by what your actions were. Otherwise, you're going to get taken wrong, and things will be pulled out of context. And it's very, very interesting how that all works, right? And again, we talk about gambling and craps and all that kind of stuff, but these inspirational quotes that I find, they work in gambling and they also work in real life. So that's it. You have a great weekend. Enjoy the World Series. I'm an anybody but the Dodgers guy, so enjoy the World Series. I'll see you Monday, and hopefully we'll have some good stuff to talk about, guys. Duracell has a final question. How would I play a 1-3-2-4 in the field? I wouldn't, for one thing. I don't like the field, but if you want to spend 5 minutes, this is the after show. We'll call it the after show. I'll go to the table and we'll look at it. So on the field, what I would do, let me go back to here. The 1-3-2-4 still works the same. We'll do it at a green level, or we'll do it at the red level. Let's get $100 in our rack. Roughly $100. We'll just put 50 out there. This gives you 5 cracks at it. $50 gives you 5 cracks at it. Okay. And the 1-3-2-4 is just this. It's a 1-unit bet that pays 1 unit, and you will stack it by 1, right? So you're going to go 1 to 3, right? Now, if your 1-unit bet happens to roll on a 2 or a 12, now I'm going to pretend this is pays double, not triple, because these are hard to find, right? If you end up getting paid double because you rolled a 2 or a 3, your 3-unit bet is fully paid for by the house. It's not coming out of your rack. You're always going to go from 1 to 3, right? If that 3 comes from your rack or it comes from the house, it still goes to 3, no matter what, right? Then when the 3 pays 6, you go down to 2, and here comes your profits. In that particular case, you only have to put 1 unit back in your rack as the starting point, right? You earned extra because you used those wins. It's the same philosophy as the 4 and 10. If I'm doing a 1-3-2-4 on the 4 or 10, let's just use a quarter as a simple example. 25 wins 50. You go right to 3 with the house money, not with your rack money, right? If I'm on the 9 and the 9 pays 35, the only way to get that bet to look like a 3-unit bet is to drop $15 out of my rack to make it the $75 3-unit bet. So the 9 and the 8 and the 6 and the 5, you have to power press from your rack to make it right. The 4 and 10, you don't have to, because the payment is enough on its own to get you the 3. The same in the field. When you catch a 2 or a 12 in the field and it pays you 2, boom, that's your 3-unit bet. That's how I would do it in the field. Okay. And again, on any of these bets, the way that I do this, and you got to see this because the secret to the 1-3-2-4 is not the 1-3-2-4. There's 2 parts to that bet. Okay. Let me do greens because greens are just easier to manage. Okay. If we do a 1 in the field and it wins 1 and we drop 1, add 1 to it. Let's take our rack out of the way here, right? We add 1 to it. We're in this thing for 2 units. Okay. I'll put them up here. We're in it for 2 units. And the 3-unit bet wins. And you come down to 2 units. You got your 2 units back that you started with. You've got 2 units in profit and 2 units in play. The 1-3 is power. The 3 bet is the power bet. You're locked. You got your money back, so you can try it again. You have another 2 units in profit. You can try it again for free, and you're playing it still. Now, when the 2 wins and it goes to 4, and God forbid the 4-unit bet wins, what do? You rack the 4. Now you got 3 or 6 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units in profit, which gives you 3 more cracks at this if you want to do it. And your new 1 is 4. You stay at 4. That's your 1. When you win, you're going to take this and make that your 3. Now your 3 is $300. And when that wins, the 3 blacks, you're down to a 2-unit black bet, and here's your rack. Look at your rack now, right? You catch a big 4, 5, 6 in a row streak, which happens all the time. Now you're at 4, and the 4 wins 4, and you walk out of here with $1,000 in profit, right? If you can catch 8 in a row at $25 and you're willing to do that, you still have your original money back. You locked up profit. You locked up a 2-unit profit way back. You're playing for free, going for $1,000. That's the 1-3-2-4 in the field, the pass line, or on a number. It's the most powerful betting progression that I found. There's more power in other ones. This one gets you profit on roll 2. On your second hit, you're locked in profit. No matter what happens, you're locked. You got your money back plus profit plus playing, and the potential to go 6, 7, 8 in a row is a factor of 20 over that. That's an amazing run. The 1-3-2-4, literally, that's how I play blackjack. That's how I play the outsides and roulette. It's how I'm starting to play the numbers. I think it's a interesting. Hope I answered your question. Yeah, the boxcars at level 4. My God, you catch a boxcar when you have a 4-unit bet, you can take a week off, right? That's a beautiful thing when that happens. So yes, use the boxcars and the aces money. Use those. Let me get out of the screen here. Use those to. Oh boy, I lost everything. There we go. Use those to pay for your next bet. Don't pull out of your rack. So, all right, there it is, guys. I got to run. Love y'all. See you Monday. Have a great weekend, and God bless. Bye.